Hi, I'm Vijaya and I'm a registered dietitian, and today we're going to talk about inflammation. You hear about it all the time, but what is inflammation? Inflammation is actually a process that your body helps to protect itself against foreign substances that comes into the body. But there are two types of inflammation, acute and chronic. Acute is more something like if you scrape a knee, white blood cells are released by the body to help repair that damage. Along with that, swelling and redness also occurs. That swelling and redness is inflammation. Usually with acute inflammation, the processes are very short term. It happens, the redness and swelling eventually dissipate, and guess what? That inflammation goes away. But with chronic inflammation, that's something that's a little bit more long term. A lot of times, what happens with chronic inflammation is we don't even realize it's there because it's not visible to the naked eye, or it can't be seen on a lot of blood tests. This inflammation kind of goes under the radar is what I like to consider it as. And this is really what can cause problems, because chronic inflammation, if it's not treated, can actually lead to many disease states, including diabetes, heart disease, depression, Alzheimer's, and even certain kinds of cancer. But the good thing is you don't always have to look into your medicine cabinet to treat inflammation. All you have to do is look into your fridge. So today we're going to talk about the foods that can help with inflammation, as well as those foods to avoid to help lead a much more anti-inflammatory life. So to avoid or reduce the inflammation in your body, there are certain foods that you can avoid or at least limit. And those are going to be things like refined carbohydrates. You know, the buzzwords are white flour, sometimes enriched flour, as well as which are usually found in a lot of baked goods and breads. So you want to kind of stay away from those because those are very easily digested and can spike your blood sugars. Now, when your blood sugars are spiked, you know, your body wants to bring those blood sugars down, and usually an inflammatory response is needed to bring those blood sugars down. So the more white foods, is what I like to call them, white breads, pastries, and things like that are consumed, guess what? Those blood sugars are going to keep going up, and your body has to constantly be in a state of inflammation to bring those blood sugars down. So try to limit or avoid eating those kinds of products. The next thing that you want to try to avoid is also eating fried foods. Fried foods also trigger an inflammatory response in the body, so limiting them is a much better way to control that inflammation in the body. Also, along with that, you want to also reduce the amount of red meats and processed meats that you eat. Those can be things like steaks and burgers, or also sausage and pepperoni and hot dogs. All of those are highly processed foods that can cause inflammation in the body. Now, if you are going to eat red meat, try to choose leaner cuts, like the word loin or round should be in the cuts, because those tend to be leaner and less in fats. Also, along with these other foods, you want to try to limit or avoid eating foods that are high in trans fats and saturated fats. Those can be in things like margarine, shortening, and lard. These also cause an inflammatory response in the body, not allowing it to properly heal. So now that we've heard about the foods that you should avoid, what foods should you eat? So the foods that you want to incorporate more into your diet to create an anti-inflammatory response is things like olive oil and avocado oils, healthy nuts like pistachios, and also lentils like chickpeas. This chickpea pasta is a great example of that. Also beans like black beans, pinto beans, garbanzo beans, oats, vegetables, fruit like these beautiful berries we have here, and apples. Along with that, you want to make sure that you are also incorporating exercise into your diet, because that's also very important for heart health, but also to help reduce inflammation in the body. So you're going to be wondering, how am I going to eat all these foods? Well, let me give you a quick example of a great meal that you can create using all of these things. Oh, I forgot the most important thing. All of these are vegetable-based or plant-based foods, but we can't forget one of the most anti-inflammatory foods, and that is fatty fish. Things like salmon are very important for anti-inflammatory reasons. And so make sure that you incorporate those at least 2 to 3 times a week if you can. If you don't and you're a vegetarian, chia seeds are a great way to get those omega-3 fatty acids and also create an anti-inflammatory response in the body. So if in the evening you wanted to create a meal, get some brown rice, and put a piece of grilled salmon on it. And on the side, you can have a wonderful salad like this right here. We have a kale salad, some fruit in it, and then you can use a dressing made from olive oil and lemon juice. A great anti-inflammatory meal pretty much at every step of the way. And again, very tasty and not very hard to actually make. So we hope that you use more anti-inflammatory foods into your daily diet so that you too can live a long and healthy life.